Hello everyone, and welcome to the first Tempo Strategy Wild Meta Snapshot breakdown for Forged in the Barrens. The new set brings with it some sweeping changes for the Wild Meta, with the former top decks fighting for the top spot with two newcomers to the scene, Aggro Tax Paladin and Flamewaker Combo Mage. These two decks together have reshaped the Legend meta, thanks to powerhouse cards from the new set alongside existing game breakers. And while Paladin and Mage may not have a lock on Wild like they do in Standard, there's no denying that these two classes are among the best in the game. Beyond the Tier 1 shakeups, we've also seen a few classic decks resurface after the new expansion with some serious upgrades, and on the flip side, we've seen a few decks that were pushed as potential meta tyrants that simply failed to live up to the hype. There's a lot to process after Forged in the Barrens, so come join our Wild Meta experts as we break down the format's latest developments. Per usual, we're going to start with Tier 1, which is where we've seen the most shakeups in the set's early days, and it's all thanks to the most powerful Paladin deck to emerge in recent memory. Aggro Tax Paladin is a meta-breaking archetype that's designed to lock the opponent down with Watchpost and Weblords while you beat them up with minibots and Crab Riders. The mana cost taxes from Far Watchpost and Nerubar Weblord add up quickly, especially when multiple copies of these minions are put into play with the recently buffed Call to Arms, and with Sword of the Fallen serving up Oh My Yogg and Redemption, it can almost be impossible to deal with Paladin's onslaught once it gets the ball rolling. This deck's unique style of disruption is especially strong against Darkglare Warlock, but does that mean that Tax Paladin is taking Darkglare's place? The jury's out on that one, especially with nerfs for Standard on the horizon, but as of right now, Tax Paladin is holding the top spot in Wild. Flamewaker Mage is the other breakout deck of the set, and while Tax Paladin is busy trying to stifle its opponents, Flamewaker Mage is more interested in simply killing them with some of the most degenerate combo shenanigans we've ever seen in Hearthstone. New from Forged in the Barrens, Refreshing Springwater is a draw spell that actually gains mana when paired with cards like Incanter's Flow and Sorcerer's Apprentice, and with only a few turns of setup, the deck can assemble so many cheap spells that it can deal lethal damage with just Flamewaker triggers and burn spells alone. The deck is reminiscent of the glory days of Quest Mage, but without the quest to get in the way, this style of critical mass combo is even more consistent than ever. Even fast aggro can struggle against Flamewaker Mage's faster starts, and if you're a slow control deck without Dirty Rat or Loatheb, you might just be dead on arrival. Ironically, Tax Paladin and Secret Mage are both poor matchups for this deck, but that's not enough to stop Flamewaker Mage from becoming one of the most popular decks at High Legend. So with Tax Paladin and Flamewaker Mage in the mix, how are the older top decks faring? Well, some are doing better than others. Notably, Reno Priest is still a rock-solid ladder choice despite the rise of Paladin and Mage, and it's all thanks to Priest's ironclad defensive suite. Priest has plenty of tools to clear Paladin's board while disarming their secrets, even if Nerubar Weblord makes playing Highlander cards more than a little awkward. As for the combo Mage matchup, it's not fantastic, but with Dirty Rat and Mindrender Elusia, it's certainly possible to turn the matchup around. Beyond that, Reno Priest is still quite strong against all the new aggro decks popping up after the expansion, and with the Rogue class and anti-Reno tech cards all on the decline, Reno Priest has few natural enemies left on the ladder. As for Darkglare Warlock, it's fair to say that the once meta tyrant has seen better days. While Forged in the Barrens did give Darkglare Warlock a substantial upgrade in the new card Tamsin Rome, it also introduced Tax Paladin and Flamewaker Mage, both of which are relatively poor matchups. That being said, High Legend Darkglare pilots have a knack for adjusting the deck to overcome its worst matchups, and given how powerful the deck is, it's only a matter of time before Darkglare can reverse its fate against the newcomers. In the meantime, Darkglare Warlock is still miles ahead of any archetype outside of Tier 1 in terms of raw power, so while the deck is less popular now than before, it's still a monstrous threat in expert hands. Moving on to Tier 2, we've seen quite a few decks get upgrades with Forged in the Barrens that have become strong contenders even if they're not quite on par with decks like Tax Paladin. At the top of the list, Pirate Warrior is back and better than ever, with a slew of new cards including Outrider's Axe, Rokara, Bloodsail Deckhand, and Fogsail Freebooter all coming together to help Pirate Warrior fill the void left behind by Odd Rogue's nerf. Thanks to Ship's Cannon and Skybarge, Pirate Warrior is surprisingly well suited to dominate the board against Tax Paladin, but it's still not well suited suited against older meta champions like Reno Priest and Dark Glare Warlock. Also in Tier 2, Secret Mage has fallen from grace after Forged in the Barrens, largely thanks to Tax Paladin. Simply put, Tax Paladin is faster and more efficient at counter beatdown style gameplay than Secret Mage ever was, and to make matters worse, Secret Mage hasn't seen much change from the new set, so it can't upgrade itself much to compete. That being said, Secret Mage is still powerful enough to dominate most decks outside of Tier 1, and depending on how much of an impact the future nerfs have, it's not hard to see Secret Mage returning to power as a top contender in Tier 1. Murloc Shaman is a returning deck in Tier 2 thanks to an insane spread of powerful Murloc cards in Forged in the Barrens that complement the deck's existing synergies with Underbelly Angler and Murloc Warleader. Firemancer Flurgle combos with Wild Murloc staple Toxfin to give Murloc Shaman a faultless way to clear opposing boards of any size, and No Fin Can Stop Us joins up with Everyfin is awesome to give the deck access to AoE buffs and burst damage that few decks can compete with. Like Pirate Warrior, Murloc Shaman is adept at conquering the board and delivering the beatdown, but it still can't get over a natural weakness to mass removal that makes it an underdog to decks like Reno Priest. Hand Buff Paladin is a top legend favorite that rejoins Tier 2 thanks to Forged in the Barrens, and while it's more of a finesse deck than Tax Paladin, it's a powerful deck in its own right that can compete with almost anything once it gets its hand buff engine going. New to the deck, we have Conviction rank 1 as a cheap new AoE buff with Knight of Anointment to find it, and Blade Master Samuro as a new AoE board clear option that's simply insane with all the buffs. With Animated Broomstick for board control and Shieldblade Champion and Argent Horse Rider for burst damage, the deck has strong options against fast and slow opponents alike. Just do your best to stay away from Big Priest. The last returning deck in our Tier 2 spotlight is Reno Mage, which is proving to be a powerful dark horse pick at high legend. This rank 1 build of Reno Mage features a tidy secret package along with Luna's Pocket Galaxy, and with Lorekeeper Polkelt, it can stack the deck to draw a slew of discounted bombs and lock the opponent out with Lotheb and Barista Lynchin. The deck's no slouch on the defensive end either, with a wide range of anti-aggro and anti-combo options that each give the deck fair odds against some of Wild's scariest decks. Like Hand Buff Paladin, Reno Mage is a finesse deck that takes some practice to master, but it's proven to be a contender in expert hands. All in all, Forged in the Barrens has delivered in shaking up the Wild meta for better or worse. There's no doubt that Tax Paladin and Flamewaker Combo Mage are among the best decks, but that may not be the case for too much longer, with nerfs for both Paladin and Mage scheduled to occur soon after this meta report goes live. The details of the nerfs are not known yet as of this report, but they have the potential to shake up Wild even further. Will the nerfs return us to an era of Dark Glare dominance, or will we see any of the other contenders in the top tiers rise to glory? We await the changes with bated breath. In the meantime, be sure to check out the full report over on our website for all the details, and as always, thanks for watching.